Welcome back to Speed Bump Garage. Today, we're going to be painting this hood for our 1968 Ford F-100. This truck has been on the channel for about 2 years, and ever since we got it, Dad got it out of a junkyard actually, it's had this mismatched hood, so we're going to be changing that today. A couple episodes back, we bought another F-100 to do a power steering swap on our green truck, and it had a good hood on it, you can see behind us. We took it to our buddy Paul to get it sandblasted, and here we are. So we're gonna start by spraying this hood with some primer. Dad's wiping it down, trying to get all of our oils from our hands off of it.
We've tried to be pretty careful while we were touching it, but I can see some fingerprints. We really need to get some primer on it. And we got a few dents to address.
Yeah, we
pulled this one out a little bit and some here. We got a pretty large dent there. And also we had to fill a bunch of trim holes. This is a later model hood. That one does not have trim on the front of it. Or 68, they didn't. This one did, so we filled the holes. These holes are for the Ford letters, so they don't need filled. But other than that, fix a few dents after we get the initial coat of primer on there. Hopefully spray some green on it.
Heck yeah. And we have some shots of this hood before it was sandblasted. I'll throw up right here. And I don't know if you can see it, but this was a really large dent before we started, and we got a little stud welder and a slide hammer, and it works pretty good. And there's also a pretty big one right here. I started by blowing all the sandblasting material out because there was a bunch of it stuck under the braces of the hood. We're about ready to start mixing primer up. We're gonna start with this Eastwood epoxy primer. It's a 1-to-1 mix ratio, and it's direct to metal.
Direct to metal, and it's got this cover on it that I don't know how to get off.
Yeah, we might be able to spray it if I can get it open.
There it is.
There you go.
I think that's a shipping seal.
Yep, so we can mix it up and start spraying.
We were just a touch over 5, weren't we?
Yeah. So we started spraying the primer, and I want to say a big thanks to Kevin Tates, because a few months back we went down to his shop and did his paintification course, and he taught me a lot about spraying paint. We did a few days in his paint class, and we sprayed several different things, learned buffing, spray techniques, and I learned a lot. And Kevin is probably watching this right now, and you can see in some of these clips I'm letting all the way off the spray gun trigger where I shouldn't be. I should just be letting off the fluid. So you can see I correct that later when I'm spraying the green, but I was making a mistake right there. So the next step was filler, and this hood was not perfect by any means. It had a bunch of dents in it that I had to fill, and it was a really good learning piece because I had pretty much every shape and size of dents. So I just started filling and then sanding them. It's been a few days, and per usual, a small project that should have took just a few days has turned into a mess. It turns out this hood is actually warped, probably from sandblasting, but I don't know. The sandblaster said that this hood may have been sandblasted before. It is really warped. Let's take a closer look. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but here's one wave I filled. You can see just how big that is. And they're just all over. You can run your hand over it. There's a big wave right there. And then right here is where you can really see it. There's a support right here that is shaped like a triangle. Right here you can see fine indent where it goes. And just all over. And it's really not that big of a deal because we're just doing this for practice, because I really want to get to paint that car. And this hood is not going on a straight pickup at all. Let's go take a look at it. So here's our F-100, and this truck is not perfect by no means. We got a big ol' dent right here, dent up top. big line through there. It's gonna match the truck, if anything. So I think we're just gonna paint this one and leave the waves in it for now. But later, we might get one from Auto Metal Direct or somebody, buy a new one and paint it, so it'll be perfect. But I did go ahead and straighten out some of these with some filler. I used this Eastwood premium lightweight body filler. Filled a bunch of gaps in it. There's a line right here. Just a bunch of little holes and waves. And I made this lip look nice and sharp now. It had a bunch of dents in it. Now the next step on this hood is we're going to spray some more epoxy on it because you can see all the metal that we have showing because I worked it so much. So we're going to spray epoxy over it one more time and then we'll get to prepping it for paint. There you go, the hood looks pretty good with that epoxy primer on it. Now we're gonna spray this 2K urethane primer and surfacer. And then I think it said to do 2 coats within 15 minutes of each other and then we'll have to block it down. So let's get after it. We finished out the 2K and got it all prepped for paint, and we got up early the next morning because we were spraying outside, which is not ideal. The wind was pretty low, so we started spraying our color. We sprayed this OEM Select single stage urethane from Eastwood, and we sent them our color code, and they sent us this boxwood green. And we're not expecting it to match perfectly because our color's been outside for over 50 years.
How's that?
It's good.
Is that gonna feel better?
Yeah. It might be a little dark though.
It does look a little dark. You're really light right there. I think it might be pretty close. He didn't get a good coverage on this, but I think the color is a whole lot closer than that.
After we sprayed the underside, we flipped it over and started spraying the top. And guys, I was super excited to spray the top coat of this because I have been working on this hood for a little over a week and a half at this point, and it was really exciting to get to spray it. Now it's finally time to take off our old hood and put the new one on. Let's do this.
Let's put it in the bed.
Shoot, we should just rock no hood, brother. Perfect fit.
That match is really good.
Alright, it needs to come up.
You got yours started?
Yeah.
Hang on, let me get mine started.
Are you about to spray something? Oh.
What?
Ow! I thought you had a spray bottle. Something just bit me. Something jumped up and bit me.
Oh, it matches terribly.
All right.
That doesn't match terribly. It's just the old stuff is sun damaged.
It matches better than the other one.
It's been a few days and I've spent some time buffing the hood to get some of the imperfections out due to painting it outside. And we have it looking nice and shiny. Look at that hood. Looks really good. But now it is time to put on the final touches. Let's put these emblems on. Woo, that looks good. We got the letters on, looking all good. Now we're gonna put these side badges on. Man, does that look good. That makes it 1,000 times better with the emblems on there. So much better than the old rusty mismatch hood. Looks awesome. Guys, I think that's a wrap for today's video. We had an awesome turnout. I learned a lot and got a lot of experience, and hopefully pretty soon I'll be able to paint the Ranchero when it's ready. Let's take one more last look at this hood. It looks really good on this truck. It doesn't match perfectly. It's the same color, but this one has been sitting outside in the sun for years and years and years. But it looks a lot better than the one that was on there. Didn't even match at all. Had like paint smeared all over it, painted with a paintbrush on there. And I think it was old like tractor paint. It didn't look good at all on there. But it looks awesome with the Ford emblems on there. The Ford in the front. It looks great. I still do have some waves in there from the sandblasting warps, but overall it matches the truck pretty well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.